Have you ever lost sleep trying to figure out why he suddenly pulled away? Neuroscience explains it, and I'm about to reveal the truth. Today I'm going to open up with you, not as some distant guru, but as a wise friend, a man who's lived through the ups and downs of relationships. Also as someone who has studied deeply how the male mind works. I'm going to share secrets men rarely confess, but that can completely transform the way he desires you. By the end of this video, you'll know how to spark in him a desire so strong it won't fade easily, because it won't be tied only to the physical, but to the emotional and the psychological. And when you learn how to touch those invisible layers, you stop being just an option and become the thought he can't get out of his mind. Many women have been led to believe that male desire is simple, almost automatic, as if showing the right body or wearing the right outfit would be enough to win him over. But the truth is very different. 90% of male arousal happens in the mind, not in the body. Have you noticed that some men get completely hooked on one specific woman, even if she's not the most attractive in the room? That happens because the male brain responds more strongly to emotional experiences than to isolated physical stimuli. The physical might catch his eye, but it's the emotional connection that keeps the fire burning. Neuroscience explains this through the limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for emotions, which is directly linked to dopamine release, the neurotransmitter of reward. This means that if an interaction with you triggers emotion, surprise, or anticipation, his brain will lock it in as highly pleasurable. Here's a simple example. Imagine a man who chats with several women, but one of them stands out. While the others just reply to his texts, she disappears for a few hours and comes back with a mysterious line like, "I was busy thinking about things I can't tell you right now." Boom. He's obsessed. It's not about the information itself. It's about the mystery that leaves room for his imagination. And here's the game changer. Men may look logical and rational, but when it comes to desire, they're driven by emotion and instinct. They need to fill in the blanks, to decode signals. And when you understand this, you realize that true seduction begins inside his mind. And the next truth is even more revealing. Seduction is not about giving everything away. It's about knowing how to hint just enough to plant a seed, and then letting his mind water that seed all by itself. Think of it like a movie trailer. You don't show the whole story, but you give just enough to spark anticipation. You can do this through short phrases, a certain look, even silence. For example, when he asks what you're doing this weekend, instead of giving a straight answer, you say, "I haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking about something that could be really interesting." And you stop right there. His brain immediately switches into anticipation mode. Research shows that the male mind releases more dopamine when there's expectation than when the reward is given right away. It's like the difference between waiting for a Christmas gift and actually opening it. The waiting itself is already pleasurable because it activates the parts of the brain tied to desire and imagination. And in practice, this means you don't need to be available all the time, nor do you need to give him all the answers. Creating small windows of anticipation is what keeps the fire alive. He'll be thinking about you at work, in traffic, even when he's supposed to be asleep. Because you didn't give him the whole map, you only left a clue. And once his imagination is on fire, the next step is to use something even more powerful, the silent language of the body. Your body speaks louder than any words. And when you know how to use it, you reach directly into the male subconscious. The predatory gaze, for example, the one that lingers just a second longer than normal, makes his heart race and releases adrenaline. That tiny detail can be more powerful than any speech. Another tool is the phantom touch, a quick, light gesture that feels almost accidental, like when you brush his arm gently during a conversation and then pull back right away. His brain registers that touch and keeps asking for more, creating a tactile memory he can't forget. There's also the calculated distance, being close enough to create tension, but not so close that it feels ordinary. It's the space between you that creates invisible electricity. This awakens his hunter instinct, because he feels the need to close that gap. Psychology studies show that contrast is one of the greatest aphrodisiacs. When you show strength and then, right after, a hint of vulnerability, the impact multiplies. Picture this. You hold a steady, confident look and then break it with a shy smile. That back and forth creates a game his brain finds irresistible. And once you've mastered body language, it's time to add something even stronger, the power of surprise. The human brain is wired to seek novelty. Repetition without variation leads to boredom, but the unexpected releases dopamine. That's why the element of surprise is one of the most powerful secrets of attraction. In daily life, this can be simple. Changing a detail in your routine, the way you dress, the tone of your voice, even how you start a conversation. If he expects predictability, you break the pattern and instantly create impact. A real story illustrates this well. A man married for over 10 years said he never forgot the night his wife completely broke their usual dinner routine. Instead of eating at the table, she surprised him with an improvised picnic in the living room. Soft lights, different music, a totally new atmosphere. It wasn't the luxury that left a mark, it was the break from the pattern. Psychology calls this the novelty effect. When the brain receives something out of the ordinary, it stores the memory as special. The result? You stop being part of the routine and become unforgettable. And just when he thinks he has the game figured out, that's when you should take the next step, taking the initiative. There's a common myth that men always have to lead the game of seduction. But when a woman flips the roles in a smart way, the impact is overwhelming. Because men aren't used to being guided, and that awakens brand new emotions in them. Picture this. You move closer, hold his gaze firmly, and calmly say, "Now it's my turn to decide." That single line shifts the whole dynamic. Or imagine you suddenly pull him closer instead of waiting for him to make the move. That kind of initiative triggers both adrenaline and oxytocin at the same time, excitement and bonding. In practice, this can happen in small ways. Choosing the date spot without asking his opinion, giving subtle commands like "close your eyes," or even surprising him with a kiss when he least expects it. The magic lies in the alternation of power. Sometimes you surrender, sometimes you lead. That back and forth creates magnetism and keeps the fire burning. Neuroscience studies show that when a man is surprised by female initiative, the brain areas linked to reward and emotional memory light up simultaneously. He doesn't just feel desire. He locks that moment in as something unforgettable. And when desire and power come together, the next level is turning it all into true emotional connection. Desire without admiration is just a spark that fades. But when you connect the two, the result is devotion. A man needs to feel not only desired, but also admired, validated, and respected. Practice what I call hypnotic listening, truly paying attention, without rushing, with genuine interest. This makes his brain release oxytocin, the hormone of trust. A sincere compliment, given at the right moment, can be more intoxicating than any provocative outfit. For example, when he shares a project or an accomplishment, instead of giving a shallow response, you hold his gaze and say, "I really admire your determination. It inspires me." That kind of validation touches the male ego on a deep level. He begins to link his desire for you not only to the physical, but also to the emotional. And it's right at this point that you become irreplaceable. He doesn't just want you. He values you, dedicates himself to you, and places you at the center of his world. So here's my practical challenge. In the next 24 hours, choose one of these techniques and apply it subtly. Then, watch how he reacts, and come back here to share your story in the comments. I truly want to hear it, because every experience adds another proof of how powerful this really is. Today you've seen that male desire isn't as simple as it looks. You discovered that it begins in the mind, grows through mystery, and lasts when you mix suggestion, body language, surprise, initiative, and emotional connection. Remember this: you deserve to be truly loved, not just desired for a fleeting moment. And when you learn how to ignite his desire in a smart, intentional way, you also discover the power of being chosen not only for your body, but for your heart. And in the next video, I'll reveal something even deeper about how the male mind works, something that can give you an advantage very few women know about. If this content opened your eyes, subscribe right now and hit the notification bell, because the next video is going to bring a revelation that could completely transform your love life.